Hi, in this video, we will do one example of solving an equation involving rational expressions. To start, let's factor the denominator of your second fraction. To do that, we want to find two numbers that multiply to equal -8 and add up to equal the number in the middle, the 2. Those special numbers are a 4 and a -2. Because this trinomial on the denominator starts with a 1, you can go straight to your parentheses for factoring. The factors will be x plus 4 and x minus 2 using those special numbers you just found. Oh, look, the x plus 4 and the x minus 2's are the denominators of the other two fractions. It doesn't have to be the same, but if it wasn't the same, it'd be an even harder problem. Now, let me rewrite this equation using the factored denominator. And when I rewrite it, I'm going to leave some space after each fraction because I know what the next step is. So we have 2 over x minus 2. Leave some space, plus x over x plus 4, leave some space, equals 2x plus 32 over the factored version of the denominator x plus 4 times the quantity x minus 2. Now, we want to find the LCD of those three fractions. Two of the fractions have an x minus 4, so we need, two of the fractions have an x plus 4 in the denominator, so we need an x plus 4 in the LCD. Two of the fractions have an x minus 2, so we also need an x minus 2 in the LCD. And now we are going to take every fraction and we are going to multiply it by the LCD over 1. So the first fraction gets multiplied by x plus 4, x minus 2 over 1. The second fraction gets multiplied by x plus 4, x minus 2 over 1. And the third fraction also gets multiplied by x plus 4, x minus 2 over 1. If you do this step correctly, all of the fractions should cancel out. For the first multiplication, the x minus 2's cancel. For the second multiplication, the x plus 4's cancel. And for the multiplication on the other side of the equal sign, the x plus 4 and the x minus 2 cancel. That means you are left with 2 times x plus 4 plus x times x minus 2 equals 2x plus 32. Now let's distribute to get 2x plus 8 plus x squared minus 2x equals 2x plus 32. To combine like terms, notice that on the left side of the equal sign, 2x minus 2x completely cancels, giving you 0x. That doesn't always happen. It's just kind of a coincidence that it happened in this particular problem. So that means we really have x squared plus 8 equals 2x plus 32. Because I'm going to have to factor because I have an x squared in the problem, I want to make this equal to 0. Technically, you could subtract x squared and subtract 8 from both sides, but I would definitely not do that because now you're making your x squared negative, which makes it much harder to factor. Instead, let's subtract the 2x and subtract a 32 from both sides of the equation. That leaves you with x to the second minus 2x, and when you combine an 8 minus 32, you get a negative or minus 24, all of which equals 0. Now we want to factor on the left side. Since the x squared starts with a 1, that makes it way easier. You can go straight to your binomials that are multiplied. Both parentheses are going to start with an x. And to find what numbers go in those parentheses, you solve the number puzzle by finding two numbers that multiply to equal the negative 24 and add up to equal the number in the middle, the negative 2. The numbers that multiply to negative 24 that also add up to negative 2 are a 4 and a 6. Which one of them is negative? Because in order to multiply to a negative, one of them has to be negative. Well, the 6 has to be negative because they also have to add up to be a negative 2. Take that plus 4 and that minus 6, put them in the parentheses. And now to solve this, we set each factor equal to 0. And solve. Subtract 4 from both sides to get x equals negative 4. Also add 6 to both sides to get x equals 6. However, make sure you do the last step. The last step is to check your answers. If all your math was right, really the only thing you have to check is to make sure that neither of these answers makes you divide by 0 in the original problem. So we have x equals negative 4. Let's check that in the starting problem. If I put negative 4 here for the x, negative 4 minus 2 is not going to be 0. Cool, that works. But what happens if I put a negative 4 in for x in the second denominator? Negative 4 plus 4 is 0. You would end up dividing by 0 if you plug in your answer of negative 4. That's bad. So that really means that x equals negative 4 doesn't work because it makes you divide by 0 in the original problem. When an answer doesn't work like this, we call it an extraneous solution. In other words, you did all the math right, but you ended up with an extra solution that doesn't actually work. So you cross it off. But let's also check this second answer, x equals 6, to make sure it doesn't make us divide by 0. If I put 6 in for x, 6 minus 2 is not 0. Good. If I put 6 into the second fraction, 6 plus 4 is not 0, good. And if I put 6 in for both x's in the third fraction, I get 6 squared is 36, plus 2 times 6 is 12. 36 plus 12 minus 8 is definitely not 0. So what that means is that 6 is an answer, and in fact, x equals 6 is your only answer for this equation. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something. Have a good day. Bye.